Today we will be creating an email workflow that can process multiple attachments of different types. The first thing I like to do is go on Excalidraw and write down the logic step by step and draw a diagram of what the workflow should look like before hopping on N8N, just to have a clear flow on what I need to be doing at each step. So obviously the first step should be receiving the email. We'll have a Gmail trigger, an if node to just check if there is an attachment or if there is no attachment. And step 3, if it has more than one attachment, we need to separate them into different files. Then step 4, we need to be able to loop through each attachment and then check what type the attachment is, put it through the right extractor, and then merge all of them into one attachment. So it will basically keep looping, taking each attachment at a time, checking what type it is, putting it through the right extractor type, merge it into one attachment, and keep looping. When the loop is complete, we want to merge the attachment and aggregate them. And then finally, we want to put it through a set node where it will have the name of the sender, the subject, the contents of the email, and the attachment. And then finally, we will be sending it through the text classifier we've already created in the previous video. So we will not be creating this today. We will just be creating the attachment handling process. Let's hop on N8N then. Here is the N8N text classifier workflow that we did last video, where it received an email, got the attachment, extracted the info from the attachment, and then have it in a set node to send it over to the text classifier. Right, what we will do now is get rid of the get attachment and the set node, because we are about to make a major upgrade to it. Now that's out of the way, let's get the email that we will be working on. I have it set up here on Gmail, where we are receiving an email from a candidate asking for a person to fill a backend development position. Here is the first attachment, backend developer job description. It's a PDF file here. And then the second attachment is just a picture of a Lego figure wearing red, followed with spam bots. In N8N now on the Gmail trigger, we want to make sure that we first pick the right credential, simplify is off, and that we are downloading the attachment. We fetch test now. And here we go, we have attachment 0 and attachment 1, and we can see their file types and PDF and PNG. Now the next part is the F node to check if there are attachments or not. We will attach it right here next to the Gmail trigger, F node. So the cool thing here is that the attachments are binary. So we can write an expression here where we only check for object keys that are binary, where we write object.keys and we want to check binary, so we use a $sign binary, and we want to use the length function to see how many there are. Perfect, look at that, we've got the result 2. So for the F node, if you remember, we're only checking if there are attachments or not. So we want to write that it's equal to 0. This is not a text function, it's a number, equal to 0. So perfect. The expression is gonna tell us how many attachments there are. If it is equal to 0, then we'll know that there are no attachments. And if there are more than 0, then we are gonna go through the loop. Perfect. So for the true branch, we will make a set node. In the set node, we want to extract things like name. We want to extract the subject of the email. You want to check the text section. You actually would want to have the thread ID for later uses. For example, if you want to send back an email, the date function is actually very useful if you are going to have a memory system and you want to recall on emails that you've sent or received on certain dates. So that's if the email has no attachment. That's when the binary length is equal to 0, meaning that it has no attachment. We want to send it straight to the set node and send it over to the text classifier. Now, the big chunk of the workflow is going to be if there are attachments. The next thing we need to be doing is separating the attachments. Let's check if the if node works. We'll first need to pin the Gmail trigger by pressing P. Okay, let's execute the workflow, and here we go. It has went through the false branch. Now, following the Excalidraw, we need to now separate the attachments. This unfortunately does need a code block. We will be writing in JavaScript. And to keep this beginner friendly, let's open Gemini. So we need to prompt Gemini by telling it, I need a JavaScript code block for an N8N workflow where I want to restructure data by taking multiple binary attachments from a single item and split it into an array of individual objects. Perfect, you get the JavaScript code and then you just copy paste it here and voila, let's try to execute the step. Perfect. Now we see that it has outputted 2 items rather than the 1 item into 2 files. They're both called files, so let's keep that in mind for the next step. Now here we want to loop through each item, so we will make a loop over item node. We want to loop the batch size in 1. Now when the loop is done, let's just have it as no operation right now, so we don't have to worry about that for now. But for the loop, so for the loop over items, we need to have a switch node. So now what we need to loop through is, firstly, we need to take in the attachment and then be able to identify what type of attachment it is, whether it's a PDF file or a picture. Let's execute the workflow first. In the loop over item, we have the file coming out. Now keep in mind, every time any attachments are being sent through, they're going to be called file. So the next thing we need to create is the switch node, where in the switch node, we are going to have the mode as rules. We need to change the value as an expression. And the trick here would be is that we first need to identify that we're working with binary and the field is file, because they're always going to be called file. And then we want to check the file extension, exactly like that. And we have the result. So if it is equal to PDF, we want the routing to be different than another routing where just copy paste to PNG. We'll rename the outputs. We have this as PDF, we have this as PNG. And just like that, we have a switch node that now the loop over item is a PDF. So we would want the switch node to work and to have it be passed through the PDF file. Exactly. So now that we have the switch node working and is able to identify the type of attachment, we want to send it through the right extractor. So for the PDF file, extractor is very easy. We've done it on the last video where we just need an extract from file and extract from PDF. Simple as that. You just want to extract from PDF, input binary field, it is file, execute step, and just like that, we got the text. The backend developer, job description, it's the exact same thing as this one. Now we have the extract from file working. So after that, we want to make, let's check. We want to make a merge node. Technically the merge node is not really necessary here because we're going to aggregate it when it's done anyways, but it's always clean to have. We just want an append. When the merge is done, we want it to loop back into the end of the loop and send it over. So now to extract from a picture, it will only work with an AI model like GPT-4o. So what we will need is OpenAI's analyze image. There we go. We want to make sure that we're using the right credential. And the resource is an image, exactly, analyze image from list. We want to make sure that we're using the right model. Keep it at 4.0. It works just fine. The text input is just what's this image. We don't need to change that. And then the input type here is a binary file, as we've discussed before, and the file name is file. We'll just keep it a simplify output, and that's it. We attach this to the merge. Let's just extend things here, make it look a bit nicer, and that's it. We can now remove the no operation do nothing and add an aggregate. So for the aggregate, we need all items, data, and all fields, and I will just do it automatically by itself. There's nothing else we need to change. Finally, we need a set node. We can just copy paste this one because it already has most of the stuff we need. We'll just only need to add an input field. And from here, we will just need to add one thing, and that is attachment. Then the value, I need to execute previous nodes. Here we go. So as you can see from the aggregate, they come in data where it starts with data 0 and data 1. If you remember, data 0 was the PDF, which is, as you can see here in the text, the backend developer job description. And then in data 1, we would expect the picture. This image features a Lego scene with a red Lego figure looking frustrated or overwhelmed, surrounded by red ant-like creatures. So that's perfect. We do have both data sorted out. We just need to put it in a clean way up here in the attachment. To do so, we need to have an expression that makes sure to take in all the text blocks from all different types of data. So to do so, we can use Gemini again. We'll need a JavaScript expression that processes incoming items and their nested JSON structures. Now it needs to use a recursive approach and look for any key named text. Extract the values of those text keys into an array. And for it to actually work super well, what we would also like to do is send an image of the output we're getting here. We're gonna show that it's a set node, the aggregate, send it over, and another one to just complete the picture, the same thing, and that is it. Right, let's test it out, and here you go. We have attachment 1, where it's the image, and then attachment 2, where it's the job description. And finally, send it over to the text classifier, and let's run the whole workflow. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching the tutorial. Take care.